Hey everyone, this is Richard, CEO of altFINS. Today in the video, I will cover the latest price action for some of the major coins and also talk about the Fed rate cut and the outlook for the rest of the year. There are really a number of positive signs that the market is turning around, that the trends that we've seen in the last 3-4 months, the downtrend, could be in fact reversing to an uptrend. So let's go ahead and get started. First of all, I will draw your attention to this weekly report that we publish every Monday. I would encourage you to check it out. It's got a good review of some of the major events. It's called the Crypto Market Overview. It's under the research section. Again, it's a weekly, and it's got a good overview of some of the major crypto events, but also macro events that regard particularly the U.S. economy, anything the Fed central bank is doing or commenting about, other sort of economic data indicators like inflation, unemployment, and so forth. It also has a summary of the market performance, so let's take a look at it. Last week obviously was a really positive week for the crypto market overall. We see that Tau is up 84% in just 1 week, SUI 45%, IMX Immutable is up 40%, Aptos, Fantom, Fetch.ai all up high double digits just last week. In fact, some of these like SUI, IMX, Aptos, Fantom, and Fetch.ai also were all on our trade setups list or technical analyses list with a bullish rating. So if you followed some of the recommendations or some of the suggestions and technical analyses, you'd be enjoying some of these gains. Having said that, obviously the big announcement last week was from the Fed, which cut the rates. We do discuss it right here, but the Fed has cut rates by 0.5 percentage point for the first time in 4 years to a range of 4.75 or 5%. So it's still got plenty of cutting to do if needed to continue to stimulate the economy. And it looks like the market, in fact, is already anticipating another 0.5 percentage or 1/4 to 0.5 percentage cut in the November meeting. In fact, based on the CME, Chicago Mercantile Exchange, FedWatch, there's predictions that there's about 50% chance of another 50 basis point cut or at least a 25 basis point cut. So this is important because when the monetary easing takes place, that's a positive for risk assets, positive for equities, technology stocks, and positive for cryptocurrencies as well for valuations. So this sets up a pretty good backdrop to a potential rally in cryptocurrencies, or continued rally, frankly, for the rest of the year. I wouldn't be surprised if we are hitting maybe even new all-time highs for Bitcoin by the end of the year. We're not really that far. We're only about 15% away for Bitcoin. For a lot of the other altcoins, we're pretty far from all-time highs, even down 50-60% from just the recent highs in April. But this week's was certainly a very positive week, and I'd say that even prior to the Fed cutting rates, the market had already shown some signs of bullish trend reversal. Let's take a look at a few technical analyses. Let's start with Bitcoin, of course. That's the bellwether here. If Bitcoin continues to improve, all the market will too as well. So in fact, let's go to the technical analysis tab here for Bitcoin. And what we had seen recently, if you zoom in here, you'll see that the asset was trading in a sort of a sideways channel here for a while, really since March, right? We saw a big run up in Bitcoin and altcoins in the beginning of the year, hit new all-time highs at the end of March, and then it was kind of going sideways as well. And then so we saw this symmetrical triangle develop recently, which again is an indication of a balance between buyers and sellers, between demand and supply, kind of a market uncertainty, frankly. And we did get a breakout of that symmetrical triangle, which was a bullish signal, but the price has now a couple of times so far has been rejected by the 200-day moving average approximately, right? So it's positive to see that it's broken back above the $60,000 resistance, but now it's approached again. It's right at the $64,000 200-day moving average, and we'll see if it succeeds breaking through it. I'd like to see it. Typically, when the price breaks above the 200-day moving average, that's a sign of an uptrend. So if we do see that, then we could conclude that perhaps Bitcoin is back in its uptrend, and the next milestone would be the 72,000 or so resistance area, which would be about a 10, actually more like a 15% potential upside. So that's kind of what I'm waiting for, is to see if the Bitcoin price can break through the 200-day moving average. That would be a signal for me for Bitcoin, but really for the rest of the market as well. Now, the rest of the market, it reacted very positively to the Fed rate cut as well. If you look at Ethereum, which has really been struggling, frankly, it has had a bullish breakout from the channel down pattern, which was, like I said, there's a number of signal or indications that the market has shown that there is a potentially bullish trend reversal happening already prior to the Fed rate cut last week. So we saw that the price hit really the bottom was on August 5th, and that was for the entire market. That was just a big dip in the market, and it's kind of recovered and made a higher low, which is positive, and now it's broken out of the channel down pattern, right? And so there's some indications that there is a potential trend reversal happening already for Ethereum. And if I finish Ethereum here, if it breaks above the 2,620 resistance zone, it's likely to revisit the next resistance zone, which is just under 3,000. Okay, but if we look at a number of other technical analysis of a number of other altcoins, we'll see a similar pattern of bullish breakouts from falling wedge and channel down patterns that we've seen over the course of the last 3 or so, or maybe 4 weeks. And those breakouts were followed by sort of a higher low and higher highs, which are, again, indications of an uptrend. It's still early, but in some cases, it's really played out quite well. So let's take a look. All right, the first one I want to take a look is Aptos. So here, by the way, this is the technical analysis section where we keep technical analyses of about 65 major altcoins, complete with what pattern they're trading in, or if they're approaching or breaking through certain resistance levels. Also, we have typically a price target and a stop loss level as well for these trade setups. But for Aptos, again, another one that had obviously a huge run up in the beginning of the year, then a huge pullback, then a gradual sort of pullback in the channel down pattern. But we saw a breakout in early September, and that's kind of transformed into yet an even bigger breakout recently. So it's up since the breakout. It's up about 30% or so, in fact. And if you look at again, August 5th was kind of the low, and then the price made a higher low and also a higher high. So the most recent upswing is higher than the prior upswing, which was higher than the prior upswing. So those are higher highs, which are indicative of an uptrend. Now, in this case, the price is now approaching the 200-day moving average, which is another resistance level. So we're gonna see if it can break through that, then we can, really rally much higher after that. That will be a signal that the price has resumed its uptrend. Another one that I thought is worth demonstrating is Fantom. Okay, and this one, in fact, has already resumed its uptrend, technically speaking. As you can see, our trend rating on the medium-term basis is already up, and it's partly because it's broken back above the 200-day moving average. But again, let's take it back a little bit. Big run up at the beginning of the year, pullback, traded in the falling wedge for 3 or 4 months until it's finally broken above it or out of it, and it's rallied now, 50, almost 60% really. 60% rally since the breakout from the falling wedge, right? So beautiful breakout, truly, and this asset has now re-entered its uptrend. So this is, to show that, again, the market had already been signaling, a bullish price action and potential market reversal. Signals are popping up all over it. Another one is SUI, which is another L1 competing with Fantom and Ethereum, but that's not important here. That's fundamental stuff. This is the technical analysis stuff. Also had broken out of the falling wedge, which, it was trading in the falling wedge for several months, broken out of it, made a couple of dips, but then, rallied and, broke above the 200-day moving average, again, an indication of uptrend. So this asset is also now squarely back in an uptrend. All right, so we're seeing more and more of these. Another one that I wanted to cover is Fetch.ai. This one is also now already officially in an uptrend on the medium-term basis, although still has not quite broken through the 200-day moving average, but it's had a more recent breakout from the falling wedge pattern. Look at this falling wedge pattern, started sometime in April, lasted all the way to September. I mean, that's 5 months of consolidation and downward pressure and on until we've broken out of here, right? It made a low on August 5th, like the rest of the market, made a higher low here, and now it's made a higher high here. This upswing high is higher than the prior upswing, right? So we're seeing higher highs, higher lows, nice breakout from the falling wedge pattern, approaching now the 200-day moving average. So this is going to be a big test. If it can break through that, then we can go much higher, another $2.50, maybe even $3 after that. So that's Fetch.ai. The last one on my list, well, actually that's it. So, keep an eye on some of the trade setups that we have here in the technical analysis, or look for assets that are changing their trend to an uptrend. You can do that in the screener. We have some tutorials on how to do that, but don't miss out on what could be a huge rally in the market over the next, really the remainder of 2024, maybe even early 2025, if the rate cuts continue, which they're expected to continue in 2025 as well. So keep in mind that this video was made for informational purposes only, not meant to be financial advice, and do your own research. Good luck trading.